So I repeat, this date is very important in the life of Annie. Generally, when you do diary entry, we always mention dear diary. So over here, she didn't want to call her diary as diary, so she has given dearest diary in the beginning. So here it goes. Our entire class is quacking in his boots. The reason, of course, is a forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. GN and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us, CN and Jacques, who have stocked their entire holiday savings on the bet. From morning to night, it's, you are going to pass. No, I am not. Yes, you are. No, I am not. Even GS pleading glances and my angry outburst can't calm them down. If you ask me, that there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back, but teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. So when Annie entered the class, she found that the whole class was quacking in his boots, means shaking in fear and nervousness. And the entire class was very nervous because the result is about to be declared. And as usual, all the students get nervous once the result is going to be out. So there was no exception in this case also. The teachers will decide who will go to the next class and who will not. And on this topic, the entire class, 1/3 quarter, about a quarter of the class, a quarter means 1/4 of the class, they are betting on it. There were two boys, that is CN and Jacques, who have even stacked their entire holiday savings on their bet. And these two boys, they were sitting just behind Annie and GN, who is also a friend of Annie. GN even looked at CN and Jacques with a stern look, with a stern pleading glance that keep quiet, enough is enough. Stop betting. Both of them tried to show their anger on CN and Jacques, but all the efforts went in vain because they did not stop arguing. They did not stop saying, you are going to pass, no I am not, yes you are, no I am not. According to Annie, there are so many dummies in the class, means there are so many children who are not good in studies. Almost 1/4 children are weak in studies. And according to her, they should not be promoted to the next class. But, underline the last line, teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. Means you can't tell whom will the teachers promote and whom not. Annie also could not decide, did not know what are the teachers deciding about the promotion system of the children. Next. Para. I am not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it. The only subject I am not sure about is maths. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. So, first underline lose heart. It means, underline lose heart. It means be positive. So, Annie was very worried, not so worried like her other girlfriends. Girlfriends means the friends who were the girls in the class. Her friends who were the girls in the class. But she was afraid of only one subject in which she was not only weak, but there was some other reason behind it, and that is maths. So, but there's no other option for her but to wait until the result is out. And she knows that she needs to be positive at that moment. Next para. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them. 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Kessing, the old Fauji who teaches maths, was annoyed with me for ages because I talk too much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework. An essay on the topic, a chatterbox. A chatterbox. What can you write about that? I didn't worry about. I don't need not to worry about that later. I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked it in my bag, and tried to keep quiet. Okay. So over here, Annie is saying that she gets along very well with other teachers. There are total 9 teachers, 7 are men and 1 woman. Among them, there was a teacher called Mr. Casing, who was a maths teacher and who was an old fogey. Old fogey means an old-fashioned person. He was annoyed with Annie because she talked so much. Every time he gave the warning to Annie, warning her, don't talk. But Annie did not pay any attention to his warning. On the contrary, she got extra homework from the maths teacher. So one day the maths teacher gave her, as a punishment, gave her an essay to write. And the first essay that she got to write, the title was A Chatterbox. Now let me tell you children, chatterbox is a person or anybody who talks uselessly, continuously and all the time. So Annie at that moment did not wanted to worry about this essay. So she wrote the heading in the notebook and kept it inside her bag and kept quiet. Tucked means just put it inside. Next para. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone would ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Casing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that the talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control and that I would never be able to curb myself of the habit, since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there's not much you can do about inherited traits. So that was the evening time. Annie finished her other homework, and now she sat down to write her essay. She started thinking, she started chewing the tip of her fountain pen, totally engrossed in deep thought. She started rambling on. Rambling over here, please write the meaning. When you can talk on any subject continuously. So she started rambling on. She could have done it. Started talking continuously. She could have left big pages, spaces, filling up words uselessly. But she didn't enjoy writing such an essay. She wanted to write essays which were very argumentative, which is very convincing, and which will definitely prove the necessity of talking. She wanted to show Mr. Casing that talking is equally important for a student's life. She kept on thinking and thinking, and she had a tremendous idea. More creative ideas came into her mind, and she wrote 3 pages of that essay. She gave it to Mr. Casing, and of course Annie was very satisfied, because she started saying that talking is equally important for a student. It is one of the quality of a student needs to talk. She always says that Annie tries to keep her talking power under control, but she cannot do it because she knows that her mother is equally talkative, and she believed that this talking trait has come from her mother. It is hereditary. She cannot help it. She has to be talkative like her mother. Mr. Casing had a good laugh at her arguments. But when I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me a second essay. So Annie gave all these explanations to Mr. Casing. Mr. Casing had a good laugh, seeing the argumentative attitude of Annie. So when the next lesson was going on, Mr. Casing did not sit back. He gave another essay to write to Annie. This time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. Children, you must do one thing. In the previous paragraph, our chatterbox, underline it, is right number 1. And now switch over to the second essay, an incorrigible chatterbox, and write number 2. This is the second essay. Incorrigible means that cannot be corrected, which is unbearable. So this is a second essay she received from Mr. Casing. I handed it in and Mr. Casing had nothing to complain about for the whole lessons.